Hi, I received yesterday some great questions from the Tennessee Educators of Color Alliance. And so I'm going to answer those questions. I think there may be 4 or 5 of them. And I'm going to ask my fiance Amanda to read them to me.
All right. Monty Bruell, what is your vision for education, specifically for the city of Chattanooga?
Well, nothing gets my blood boiling more than to hear a city of Chattanooga elected official say, "We're not in the school business. That's the county's job." Well, that's ridiculous. As mayor of Chattanooga, I will have a moral responsibility to make sure that the children of Chattanooga are getting a great education. So I've met with Superintendent Brian Johnson, and I've said to Brian, I said, look, I know as mayor of Chattanooga, I'm not going to be your boss. I'm not going to get to tell you what to do, but I'm going to be your partner. I'm going to work with you to make sure that the schools inside the city limits of Chattanooga are the best that they can be.
Are there programs, policies currently in place for the city of Chattanooga that foster equity in public education? And what programs or policies can you commit to support that provide equity in public education?
Well, I think there's one that the city of Chattanooga is doing, and then there's one that Hamilton County Public Schools is also doing. So what I love that Mayor Burke is already doing is his Office of Early Learning. Investment in early childhood development and education is critical. The only problem is there's not enough of it. We need to make sure that every child, 0 to 3, can get the resources that he or she needs, and that their parents get parenting resources too. So I'm going to more than double down on the city's investment in early childhood development. I also like the Future Ready Institutes that are already in Hamilton County Public Schools. I think that by partnering, we can expand the Future Ready Institute program and provide valuable resources and certifications to students so that they can make livable wages when they graduate from high school.
How important is it to have diverse representation in schools, and why?
Well, diversity in schools is super important because every study that I've seen shows that a diverse school, a diverse system outperforms any kind of system that's not diverse. So even when we're talking about affluent schools that are mostly all white, a diverse school outperforms those schools anyway. So diversity is very important, and diversity among teachers is important too. One of the things that troubles me is it seems that African American and Latinx teachers are penalized for being successful. When they're successful, they're rewarded by getting to stay at underperforming schools. Whereas white teachers, when they're successful, they get promoted out of those underperforming schools. So I think we're going to have to look at some equity issues when it comes to teacher promotion.
What do you plan to do to support early education and K through 12 education?
Well, I've already talked a little bit about early education and how important it is to invest in that. I've already been in conversation with people at the J.B. and M.K. Pritzker Foundation in Chicago. The Pritzkers are the founders of Hyatt Hotels, and J.B. Pritzker is the governor of Illinois currently. So they are funding really innovative programs in early childhood development, and they can't wait to do more partnering here in Chattanooga with us. Now, I think it's also crucial that we invest in kids who are going from 5th grade to 6th grade. And I'm talking about the transition from elementary school to middle school. I want to provide enough counselors to the schools that are inside the city limits of Chattanooga so that we can develop a career and life plan for every student that will follow them from 6th grade all the way through high school graduation. It's not only important that we ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, we've got to ask them who they want to be when they grow up, and we've got to provide support for them so that they know that someone believes in them and supports their hopes, dreams, and aspirations.
Before I ask the last question, what I would like to know is, how does your plan for public transit tie into success in education in Chattanooga?
Well, so for example, if a student wants to participate in a Future Ready Institute that's not at his or her school, they are allowed to do that. They just have to provide their own transportation. And that's why no one takes advantage of that very helpful loophole. So I want to make CARTA buses free to ride for all people so that students have free, safe, and reliable transportation. And I want to put a bus stop at every middle school and every high school to make it easier for kids to go between schools, but also so that they can stay after school to participate in sports, extracurricular activities, or get extra academic help and still have a way to get home.
Awesome. And their fifth and final question, how would you make the city of Chattanooga a more desirable place for minority professionals to live?
Well, we have a culture problem. I like to say that our downtown specifically lacks soul. There's no vibe that you get like you get when you walk through, other cities. And so sometimes when Black and brown people in particular come to Chattanooga and they go to a restaurant, for example, they look around and they don't see anybody in the restaurant, like them. I have a friend who is a doctor who heads a department at one of our hospitals here, and he offers doctors jobs that pay over $1 million a year, but he loses the deal when he takes them out to dinner because they look around and they only see white faces. And so they won't come to Chattanooga, not even for $1 million. So if we're having that kind of failure, we need to address it. And we need to retain the talent that we have here. We need to make it so that if you grow up here and you are a Black professional here in Chattanooga, that you see your place, not just in the workforce, but in life in general and as part of our society. We've got so much work to do, and as mayor, I cannot wait to get started. So I'm going to ask you for your support and your vote for Monty R. Bruell, because that's how I appear on the ballot. Thank you so much.